Alright, hey everyone, welcome to another B&B Sports Talk. Today we're going to be kind of talking about, I guess, what makes a great player. We're going to compare, are we going to compare sports or talk about one sport now?
We're going to do basketball right now.
We're going to do basketball now, and then we're going to do football in like another video. So, I think when you're determining a great player, it's kind of different for the individual player. So, you have to look at how good was the team they were on. It's different for each. There's not like a easy way to really determine it, because if it was just, it's not obviously all about championships, because if it was, then Bill Russell would be considered the greatest player of all time, and I don't think I've ever heard anybody say he's the best player of all time. So, I think the reason Michael Jordan is considered the best is because not only did he have amazing stats, but he won 6 NBA Finals. He won all 6 NBA Finals MVPs, and he never allowed a finals to go to a Game 7. Like, that's everyone else has lost in the finals, pretty much. And so, that's kind of what I think. It's about, I think in basketball, championships are more important in determining the player than football, but we'll talk about football another time, so I'll let you talk for a little bit.
Alright, him and I have differing views when it comes to sports most of the time, except for the fact that we both like the Ducks, the Seahawks, and the Spurs and the Blazers. And, I think that the championships don't determine how good a player is. If a player is good and he's on a bad team, like, let me think, any basketball player who's good and was on a terrible team,
Or
like Michael Kidd-Gilchrist. He's good. He's not a great, but he's good. He's on the Bobcats. He has a horrible team. He's not going to be winning championships anytime soon unless he goes to a better team. And so that's, if you're great, a lot of great players have won at least one championship, usually multiple championships. But you can also look, and you can also make the argument that there are also some really, really bad players that have won championships. Every team has bench warmers that have rings. They played like 1 minute during the game. But, so I tend to think Michael Jordan, he's, great. I think he's the greatest of all time. And he won 6 championships. But I don't think he's the greatest of all time just because of those championships. I think he's the greatest of all time because of his full body of work. He has defensive player of the year. You look at his offensive stats, he's just amazing. He can play any position. He can play point guard, he can play small forward, shooting guard. He was very versatile. He could do anything. He could ball handle, he could shoot, he could pass, he could dunk. And, when you look at that, that's what, to me, makes him the greatest of all time, not the 6 championships. And
is he the greatest player? Because, even if you look at, like, LeBron, he's more of a all-around better player than Michael Jordan, right? Why is Jordan considered better?
I think Jordan has better
because of the rings.
Ball handling. I think Michael.
Passers of all time.
I think LeBron has his weaknesses.
Well, what?
Like, he has improved a lot, But I just think overall he's not as good as Michael Jordan.
See, I don't really agree with that. Like, I think, what does LeBron not do well? I mean, there's not one thing that he doesn't do well. And Jordan, he really good too. But if you look at career numbers, LeBron's a better rebounder, a better passer, and he's already won 4 MVPs. And I mean, I'm not saying LeBron. I'm just saying why is Jordan considered better? I think it's because LeBron against the Mavericks in 2011, he disappeared. I mean, he shrunk, and that's why Jordan didn't shrink in those big moments.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
I can agree with that.
Yeah.
Jordan, the championship
Jordan,
is 7 games.
You just knew he was going to win it. You just knew he was going to win.
The championship is 7 games.
You just know.
And it's 7 games just like any other 7 games. If you're going to play well and you're going to perform in those 7 games, just like he was in all the other games, you are good. You're a great player. And I think championships are part of being a great player in basketball. I'm just saying I don't think it's super, super important. Like, for me, I love Clyde Drexler. And he is constantly overlooked because he only won 1 championship when he was really, really old. And if you look at him, I don't think he was as good as Michael Jordan, but he was definitely, he was impressive.
He had a good team, too.
He had a good team, but this team was small. He didn't have
you could argue it's just as good as the Bulls teams.
Yeah, I don't think Duckworth was as good.
That Kersey, they had Porter.
Yeah, Kersey, Porter.
The Bulls really didn't have a ton of great players. They just had Jordan and Pippen and a whole bunch of guys who kind of pitched in.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're in the West versus the Bulls in the East.
Mm-hmm.
And the West has kind of historically been stronger.
And the West is typically bigger, too.
And
they had a small team for the West.
Yeah, it's just better. But the Blazers probably ran into I don't even know offhand, but I'm sure they ran into the Lakers a lot. Probably the Jazz. So.
Mm-hmm. And the Blazers went to several championships. They just couldn't finish them off. They couldn't finish it off against the Pistons.
Jordan was in their way.
The Pistons, and they couldn't finish it off.
They were a great team.
The Bad Boys, yeah, they couldn't finish it off against the Bulls, of course. And so you run into all these teams, and you're going to it's frustrating because you go to championships.
Yeah.
And Drexler just couldn't win any of them for some reason. But that doesn't downplay how good of a player he was. I think if you lose championships, if you're a good player, you're a good player, whether you win championships or not. That's my argument.
Yeah, you're a good player. I think we pretty much agree, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
But I just feel like in order to really be cemented as your legacy as a great player, you need championships. That's just kind of the way it is. There are guys like Stockton and Malone who never won championships, and they're still considered great players. But there's always this but,
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't win championships. Well, unless you want to have that but after your name, you better win championships. And that's kind of my point.
Mm-hmm.
And whether it's your fault or not, it might be a little bit unfair, to be honest. Maybe Stockton Malone shouldn't have a but after their name, but so I guess bottom line. What's your bottom line?
Bottom line is my phrase of the day is that if you're a great player, you're a great player, whether you win championships or not. That's my argument for today.
And my argument is what he said. Well, I think you're a great player. You're a great player, whether you win championships or not. But you're not a top of the line, top caliber. I guess my point is just, if you want to be considered like a top 10 player of all time, I guess. You need championships. I guess is the point. So, anything else?
No, that's it.
Alright, so thank you very much for watching. I think next video we're going to be doing football. Same thing for football, because it's a pretty different discussion. So, thank you very much for watching, and if you enjoyed, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
And if you like, leave who you agree with in the comments.
Yeah, it'd be
below.
great to hear what people think. It's a very interesting topic. So, yeah, I'll see you next time.
All right, I'm Darren. This is Ryan, and we're out.